Hey everybody, it's that time of the week again. Let's talk about episode 13 of Shadowhunters, Morning Star. So, I cannot express enough how much I loved this first season of Shadowhunters. I am in fact in mourning right now, that is why I'm wearing white. When we Shadowhunters are in mourning, we wear white. So I am wearing white in mourning for the first season of Shadowhunters. I don't know how long the wait is going to be until season 2. I'm hoping it's sometime in the fall, but it could be in the winter or even 2017. I'm hearing a lot of different dates thrown around and I'm so nervous and I just need more right now, especially with the way the season ended. The episode starts off with Clary still trying to convince Jace that he's not a bad person and that he's nothing like Valentine. Jace is completely in his own world this entire episode. He still cannot believe he was raised by Valentine, didn't know it, that he's his father, and just so much has been thrown at Jace in the past several episodes, and I really love the way his character has developed over the season, and Dom has really stepped up as Jace. Now, that being said, Jace is not gonna feel better about this whole situation anytime soon. We are gonna have to wait until season 2 to see how things resolve, but once Clary fails yet again to convince Jace that he is nothing like Valentine, they decide to enlist Simon's help on getting the Book of the White because they need to meet with Raphael in the Hotel du Mort to get permission to let Camille out to ask her where the book is. Yeah, that did not go well at all. The next thing that happens in this episode, I really enjoyed this scene. We see Alec discussing Magnus with his parents, and I'm really happy that they focused a bit on that conflict going on between Alec and his parents because it is such an essential part of the books, and I found it done so well. Alec asked his mom if she was more bothered with the fact that he kissed a guy or that it was Magnus, and she said that it was Magnus. Now, it was quite different in the books, the whole thing going on between him and his parents, and it was just in general the whole situation. In the show, they really kind of point at Magnus and are trying to tell Alec this is not a right fit. In their own way, I think Maris and Robert are trying to protect Alec. They know Magnus is immortal and that Alec will age while Magnus stays the same. I really think that they're thinking about this as they're telling Alec about all of Magnus's dalliances and just how he is. I think they're using that as a front for the excuse of what they really are worried about, because Maris and Robert are very complex characters, and I love when they finally in the books, yes, I'm talking spoilers, I'm sorry, but I cannot not talk about the books when talking about this show. In the books, when they finally accept Alec and Magnus's relationship, it's so much greater because of how long it took, and when they truly accept it, it's all in, and they actually have to keep trying to win over Magnus because of the way they treated him. Now, I'm getting off base here, so I'm gonna move on with this episode. The next thing we see is Alec and Magnus discussing the kiss and how Alec's parents reacted. And Alec, he just can't focus on things right now. He wants to go thank Lydia for all she did for them. And when they go in to find Lydia, they find her on the ground. Alec activates her Arazzi, and once she's healed enough to become conscious, she says one word, one name, Hodge. And this is when things just start moving, just really start moving in this episode. Finally, Hodge has been revealed to all of them that he is a traitor and he has taken the Mortal Cup. When Izzy, Jace, and Clary are told of Hodge's betrayal, they can't believe it, especially Izzy and Jace. Hodge trained them, he taught them, he was part of the family, and he just threw that all away so he could get some fresh air. Now, I do understand Hodge's perspective. he was stuck being punished while Robert and Maris got out of it because they had children and they had to be able to go out and about to be parents and to whatever. The Clave is not always just. They should have been punished more so, and Hodge got the poor end of the deal. So the only way that Alec is able to convince all of them of Hodge's betrayal is by them going back and looking through security footage, and they find everything that they need to convince them. They find the footage of Hodge contacting Valentine, and when they see that ring he used to contact Valentine, they start trying to figure out how he got that ring. Well, he got it from that Forsaken that came into the Institute. That Forsaken was basically a delivery boy. Yeah, he delivered the ring to Hodge, and Hodge betrayed them all. Yep, that happened. After that, we see a whole scene where Hodge brings the Mortal Cup to Valentine after Valentine has, of course, removed Hodge's punishment rune. And when he gives the Mortal Cup to Valentine, Valentine tells him, "You're free to go." Hodge can't believe what he's hearing. He believed Valentine was going to protect him. Well, Valentine tells him he can't have a traitor among his ranks. So he is made to leave after seeing Valentine use the Mortal Cup to create a new Shadowhunter. Yes, he created a Shadowhunter. It has happened. This is not like in the books, and I'm still coming to terms with it. It's a show. We can't expect it to be just like the books. I am very intrigued to find out how everything resolves in season 2 and to see Valentine get his. But yeah, so he has created a Shadowhunter, and he has sent that Shadowhunter to find Clary and Jace. The next thing we see is Jace and Alec gearing up to go after Hodge. Clary tries to stop Jace, says that they're a team, they need to work together. Jace tells her that she needs to focus on waking Jocelyn. So as Jace and Alec go after Hodge, Clary, Izzy, and Simon go to meet with Raphael about speaking with Camille. Well, Raphael refuses to allow this, and we're left wondering, what are they going to do to make this happen? What are they going to do? So after that, Hodge is on the run, trying to hide from the werewolves, the Shadowhunters, everybody, and Jace finds him and beats him silly. He slices off his hand, takes that ring of his, which Alec is not aware of at the time. Alec stops Jace from killing Hodge, and I don't know why, but as Jace uses this ring to contact Valentine, apparently Alec and Luke can't see that he is contacting Valentine. We see Jace speaking with Valentine, and Alec and them are in the background, but they show no sign of being aware of what Jace is up to. Now, back to the Hotel d'Amour. As Izzy tries to distract Raphael, Simon sneaks Clary down to the basement of the Hotel d'Amour inside a coffin, and then they get to go speak to Camille. Back to Jace real quick. After Alec has activated Hodge's Arazzi and cauterized that stump of his arm, we see Jace sneak off with Hodge when Alec and Luke turn their backs. Oh man. I really like this scene because Luke at that moment was explaining to Alec all that went down with Valentine, and the way that Jace is acting as very similar to the way Valentine was acting back when he was going crazy. Now, right when Clary and Simon opened the coffin, it was such a wonderful moment. I cracked up laughing because Camille did an epic jump scare. She's just lying, looking dead. Clary says she's dead, and Simon makes some kind of response like, well, yeah. And right after that, Camille jumps out at them, fangs bared, and the screen goes to black, aka the commercial. And I just loved that. I love little moments like that, and it was great. So right when we go back to that scene, Clary has whipped out her seraph blade, is holding it to Camille's throat. Camille is just grinning and enjoying all of this, and they start questioning her about the Book of the White. She says it's in her apartment in the Upper East Side, and that if they help her out and get her out of there, she will give it to them. There are a lot of stipulations in her helping them, and I will get right back to that. Now, back to Jace once again. As all this is going down with them, Jace is forcing Hodge to take him to Valentine. I just really loved all of these little moments between Jace and Hodge. There's just something about it. John Core did such an incredible job, and I really, really enjoy the way he's brought Hodge to life on screen. Okay, meanwhile, back at the Hotel d'Amour, everything falls apart. Raphael catches Clary and Simon trying to sneak Camille out and states that the alliance between the Shadowhunters and vampires is finished, and that because of Simon's betrayal as well, he is going to have both Simon and Camille killed. Well, he fails because Izzy comes bursting through the outside wall, and she creates a ray of sunlight dividing Simon, Clary, Camille, and Izzy from the other vampires. So they're able to get away. But yeah, things aren't good quite yet, because Camille is requiring Simon's pardon, signed in his blood, in order to give them the Book of the White, because she killed him and he was made a vampire without his consent. So that's quite a moment for Simon, having to give up essentially his revenge against her for killing him and taking away his mortal life in order to save Clary's mother. Simon really shows his maturity in this episode, and I cannot applaud Alberto enough for what he has done with Simon. So after Camille has stated what she requires in order for them to get that book, they have to figure out how to get that document. She says, "I know a guy." Well, I figured out who that guy was before they even showed up at his place. Of course, it's Magnus Bane. And I love that we finally got a scene between Magnus and Camille. Oh, wow. It was just perfect. I loved it. I have no complaints on their scenes at all. Right after they arrive at Magnus's place, Clary takes Simon aside and tells him that she would be totally okay with him killing Camille right then and there if that's what he wants. And that is when he told Clary that saving Jocelyn and stopping Valentine is more important, because Valentine is far worse than Camille could ever be. Now, as Clary and Simon are off having their talk, we get this scene between Magnus and Camille that I think we really, really needed. Camille starts taunting Magnus and being all like lovey-dovey with him in ways, but also kind of just condescending. And when she smells Alec's arrival, she pulls Magnus to her and kisses him. Just wow. The expression on Alec and Izzy's face when they walked into the room, the expression on Magnus's face right after he pushed her away, it was just one of those moments. It was one of those moments. And I don't think Alec was really angry with Magnus. He very quickly, kind of in no words, explained that Camille is crazy. Because when Alec just looked at Magnus, Magnus was just like, and everything seemed to be okay. Or so it seemed. Camille decides then to continue on with the little talk she was having with Magnus and starts just bringing up the whole immortality thing, and that makes Alec start to really think about that, because I don't think he was thinking too hard on it quite yet, but Camille kind of got that one rolling, and we know how that plays out in the books for those of us that have read them. Yeah, it was one of the best scenes in the finale. So after that little awkward moment, Alec tells Clary that Valentine has the Mortal Cup already and that Jace has taken Hodge and gone after him. Yep, Clary was freaking out at that point. And right after that, Simon agrees to sign the document of Camille's after she takes them to her apartment for the book. Right after that, we see a scene where Jace has finally gone to Valentine's last known location, and when Valentine is not there, he uses the ring to contact him again, And Valentine, of course, is way ahead of Jace and tells him he is going after Clary and his friends. Well, yeah, things are not looking good at this point. Jace calls Clary, warns her, and she just kind of brushes it off and says, we need to get this book. We almost have it. And yeah, so Jace is left hurrying to Camille's to try and save them all from Valentine. Once they all get to Camille's and Simon signs the document, Camille tells them that she doesn't know where the book is exactly. Dot must have hid it somewhere in her many libraries. Thanks, Camille. You are always such a great help. Not. Then she just dashes off because that is what Camille does. Now, they do find the book. They start looking through all of them, and Clary sees a familiar cookbook. And when she pulls it out and opens it, she sees a part of a bookmark. It is the other part to the bookmark she has from the Book of the White. So once she connects the bookmark, it transforms into the Book of the White, and things are looking all great. Yeah. It's not great. Valentine arrives shortly after. Everyone is in danger, has seraph blades to their throats, and Jace arrives and has to make a deal with Valentine in order to save all of their lives. He has to go with Valentine, and he does. And yeah, I can't say I didn't see that coming. Valentine is very manipulative, and it happened. So after Valentine, Jace and his minions walk through the portal, and Clary tries to go after Jace. Alec grabs Clary and stops her from going through and informs her that if she jumped through that portal without knowing where she's going, she would just be lost in limbo forever. So yeah, Alec saved Clary's life, and then Clary breaks down and Alec comforts her. Alec comforting Clary. Let's just think about that for a moment. And how the season started out between Alec and Clary. That was quite a scene. Alright, let's talk about the last few things that happened in this episode because they were very important. Number 1, Simon promises Clary that they will get Jace back, and then he professes his love to Clary. He tells Clary outright that he loves her, and Clary just says, I love you back. And she is still just whoosh. I still don't think she understands her feelings fully and really doesn't understand how Simon feels for her. Number 2, Magnus and Alec talk about what Camille said, and it's such an important and key moment to the whole storyline because there is a huge ongoing thing that went down in the books where Alec is worrying about how Magnus is going to outlive him and how they're going to make their relationship work. I'm not going to expand on that just to kind of keep away from mega book spoilers, but it's very, very important. Number 3, Magnus wakes Jocelyn up. Finally. I mean, we knew it was going to take that long. And when she wakes up, it didn't disappoint me. It was great, and I am so happy that she is finally awake and we can have more Jocelyn scenes because Maxim Roy is fantastic as Jocelyn. Number 4, and the last scene in this episode and season blew me away. We see Valentine and Jace on a ship with a ton of people he plans to turn into Shadowhunters. Let's all just kind of take this in for a moment because this is very different from how things went down in the books in City of Ashes with Valentine's ship and the way he was using the Mortal Cup. He never got to create Shadowhunters, but he has started creating Shadowhunters with the cup, and I don't know. My thoughts are quite torn about this decision. Hopefully it all is for the best and it resolves in a believable and workable way in season 2. He makes his speech about turning them all to Shadowhunters and them being loyal to him, and then the screen just fades to black. And now we're left waiting for season 2. And I have no idea when that's going to come. Now, there is only really one quote that stood out in this episode for me, and this time it was actually a conversation between Alec and Jace. Alec says, "Jace, how are we gonna find Hodge? He didn't leave anything we can track. I might be able to ask Magnus for help." Jace's response made me crack up laughing. It was so great. Jace's quick response was, "Stop thinking with your stele, Alec. There's more than one way to track." That was so great. This first season of Shadowhunters has been really great. I think the show has continuously improved episode to episode. And while I was a little underwhelmed by the season finale, I think the season 2 premiere is gonna blow us away. And I cannot wait. Now, one more thing. I have a surprise for all of you. In order to celebrate the season 1 finale of Shadowhunters and the upcoming second season, I finally got a tattoo I've been wanting for several years now, and it is a quote said by Tessa Gray in Clockwork Angel. When I was in Austin a couple weeks ago, I asked the author Cassandra Clare to write out part of the quote for me to get tattooed. The full quote is, "One must always be careful of books and what is inside them, for words have the power to change us." This quote has stuck with me since the first time I read it, and I thought, you know what? It's a perfect day to do it. I'm gonna get this quote today, the day of the season 1 finale of Shadowhunters, and it is now my second Shadowhunters fandom tattoo. My first one, of course, all of you have seen many times, I'm sure. It's the Parabatai rune. I got this in honor of Will and Jim from the Infernal Devices, and now I got part of that quote tattooed inside my right arm, right here. "Words have the power to change us," as written by Cassandra Clare. And I will actually, if you look right here, there's an image, a closer image of the tattoo. It is currently healing, so that is not the final way it's going to look. It's going to look a lot better once it is healed up. But anyways, I cannot wait for season 2. I hope y'all enjoyed this recap and review, and I will talk to y'all later. Bye guys.